Husband, 43 male, telling me, F34, if he gets a job in LA that we are moving. My husband and I currently live in a 2200 plus SQFT home in a really nice, safe suburb on Lake Michigan. We have a backyard where I love gardening, and my best friend lives down the street. He is currently in the interview process for a job in LA for a $150,000 salary and is telling me we need to move there. He didn't ask me if I would want that, he just told me if he gets it, he's going. When I asked what I'd be doing for work, he basically said, "Why do you have to work?" And, this would be temporary, a year or two. 1. To not be dependent on him. 2. I enjoy some nice things, so a disposable income would be nice. 3. The cost of living in LA? I currently have a broker's license in our state, and work on developing and redeveloping real estate here, but that's Midwest money, not LA money, and moving to LA would be pretty much starting over for me career-wise. I haven't applied for a job or worked as an employee in over 10 years. I have savings, but I am not looking to deplete it. Worst part is he will be busy working 16 hours days and commuting for God knows how long each day. I am also more of an introvert than an extrovert, so not having him around is making me worry that I'll be so lonely. I'm so depressed over the thought of smaller housing, no yard, no friends, no career, the thought of the earthquakes and fires, and just how expensive everything is compared to anywhere else in the US. I don't see how sunny weather and a good food scene will make up for it. I have literally been crying over this. He tells me none of these things matter, but when I ask him where I'm supposed to get self-fulfillment from, he walks away. Is this just me being selfish AF? Or is it kind of messed up that he's just making this a unilateral decision? $150,000 is not LA money. You could rent an apartment there? Lol, $150,000 in LA with no friends or support system would be a brutally rough change from what you have. Hell, the moving costs alone would be $10,000, $15,000. ETA. What is his current salary? $150K in LA doesn't go anywhere nearly as far as $150K in Michigan. Have you guys talked about your relationship lately? A lil check-in? Is he still in love with you? Are you still in love with him? Do you guys have plans for things you want to do together? Or are you existing as roommates who sleep in the same bed? Are you sure he's not using this as a way to get out of this relationship by getting you to do the breaking up? Let him go. He can rent a shoebox apartment on that sort of money. You stay where you are and enjoy the life you've built. He'll be back, older and wiser, but not richer. I think your husband is confusing $150K in LA the same as $150K in Michigan. I'd suggest he go look at housing costs. Happy Mother's Day to my husband, 33M, instead of me, 33F. Hey guys, sorry if this is a jumbled mess, but I have an issue, and I'm at the end of my rope. My husband, 33 male, told me, 33 female, that he had no real plans for Mother's Day, yet again. Because I got mad and called him out on it, he's now justified in not doing anything for me today. So far he's ignored me all day. So yesterday, my husband mentioned going to get the winter tires replaced, which I accidentally set up not realizing it was Mother's Day, so that's my own fault. Then doing yard work and other outdoor chores instead of having planned anything for me. We have kids, 8 female and 6 male. Then I completely lost it with him when he mentioned seeing his own mom on the Sunday. I had planned to see my mom yesterday to celebrate, Saturday, so I mentioned that he had all morning to see his mom, but tomorrow after the tires and crap, that it was crazy to say he'd be seeing his own mom after having nothing planned for his own wife. As we argued, I said, "See what happens if you do nothing for me on Mother's Day." He then replied, "Nothing will happen." So I left with the kids, without him, to go to my parents' place. My dad asked me if he wanted me to pick him up later. I said no multiple times, but later in the day, I accidentally fell asleep outside in the sun, as I had poor sleep for over a week and wasn't able to sleep in because of the kids that previous night. While I was sleeping, my dad dropped off something at my house, tried calling me to see if I wanted my husband to come back with him. I wasn't able to answer and he brought him over to have dinner. My husband doubled down with the passive-aggressive comments again throughout the 2 hours he was there, and I again snapped at him and my dad. So stuff like my mom asking his plans tomorrow for me, as she only knew I was mad that he had no plans for Mother's Day. He was saying comments like, "No, nothing, after getting the tires changed on the car, we have no plans, I might catch up on some yard work." Then later when my daughter said she wanted to make waffles for me for Mother's Day, he said, "Honey, how are you going to work a waffle iron? You can't make waffles, just make her some cereal, she doesn't need anything special." Then my daughter jumped back that she doesn't know how but she wants to make me something special, and my husband kept doubling down. Then he said to our son, "Want to go see grandma, his mom, tomorrow?" I lost it. I've never fought in front of anyone before this, but I told my dad to make him leave now, and that I did not want him here any longer to be rude. I told my husband that I hated him to my core and that he was a passive-aggressive idiot and I was done. I was also upset with my dad that he didn't listen to my, "No, don't go get him." But I know it wasn't his fault at all for my husband's behavior, and told him so. We ate separately, as he didn't leave after that, and I heard him saying, "I honestly don't know why she's mad at me. I did nothing wrong, and after 10 years of marriage, almost 11, 13 years together, I'm honestly considering being done. Once the kids are out of the house, I still need to be married to him, so do I want to suffer his passive-aggressive bullshit for the rest of my life?" He always seems to flip himself to be the victim every single time, and could have simply apologized or talked to me when he got to my parents' house, but the doubling down on the fight made me completely lose it. It's always like this, and he flips it back to me acting like I'm crazy for having a reaction to his bullshit comments, every time. His ego is probably bruised that I left without him in the afternoon, but leaving him alone at home made him work on some of the yard work he so desperately wanted to work on Sunday. So he got quiet time for 4-ish hours to do yard work, and we'll have another 4-ish hours out of quiet time today as well. So happy Mother's Day's weekend to my husband, I guess, lol. More backstory. He only has 1/3 weekend off a month, Friday to Monday off. 7 on 4 off, 7 on 3 off, schedule. But he had this Friday to Monday off finally. You don't stay in a hateful marriage for the kids. You leave a hateful marriage for the kids. It's toxic and simply teaches them to accept horrid behavior. You can already tell your daughter is trying to keep the peace and be more of an adult than your husband, right? That's not a good sign. If you're looking for permission to divorce someone who clearly doesn't even like you, you more than have it. This is a horribly toxic relationship to demonstrate for your kids. They deserve better and so do you. If you're done, be done. Call a lawyer on Monday and start the process of freeing yourself. Just leave, and don't change your mind when you calm down, either. File for divorce. He obviously doesn't give a shit about you. He won't change. When you get access and child support sorted legally, etc., you'll probably have an easier life. Best wishes. So he wants your kids to hate you as much as he does? Salvage the day by making waffles with your daughter. Turn it around so you get enjoyment. While maybe not what you had in mind, he's not going to treat you to anything, so treat yourself and your kids. Show up for yourself and the kids that you're the best mom. Let him go see his mom by himself. No one should have to put up with a self-centered man. You deserve better and so do your kids. Don't feel like you have to stay for the kids. Maybe get into some family counseling. Even if you won't go, it will be a safe place for you all to talk about your feelings. Then you can decide what will be best moving forward. Happy Mother's Day. Bouquet. Then later when my daughter said she wanted to make waffles for me for Mother's Day, he said, "Honey, how are you going to work a waffle iron? You can't make waffles, just make her some cereal. She doesn't need anything special." Then my daughter jumped back that she doesn't know how but she wants to make me something special, and my husband kept doubling down. What a disgusting example he is setting for your children. Divorce is the only option, emo. You can't let them think this is how wives and mothers should be treated. Am I, 25F, a side character in my boyfriend's, 26M, romcom arc with his girl best friend, 26F. Okay, so I've been dating this guy for 6 months. Let's call him Mark. He's sweet, thoughtful, hella gorgeous and just green flags all around. No issues at all with boundaries. And then there's his best friend, Claire. They've been besties since literally kindergarten, so over 20 years. Here's the thing. Claire is hot AF. I swear to God, they look like one of those hot magazine couples when they're side by side. Think Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell in their rom-com movie but platonic. Apparently, they've never hooked up. Not once. Not even a tipsy college makeout. Everyone swears by this. Even Claire herself has been super kind to me and no shady vibes at all. They don't overstep. They don't hang out excessively. She doesn't compete with me for his time. But, when they have been single at the same time, the jokes and the shipping start. I saw an IG post from a wedding they attended last year where they were each other's plus ones and they looked insanely good together. The comments of friends and family were shipping them. PPL were saying, endgame, or, just date already. Claire's sister commented, which part of the love, Rosie arc is this? And I felt that. Now that I'm in the picture, everyone's been welcoming and respectful. But I sometimes get the feeling that I'm just a guest star in a rom-com. Like I walked into middle of a love story that's been slow building for 20 seasons. Mark says that he sees Claire like a sister. Claire has never done anything to suggest otherwise. Am I being insecure? Is this just internalized rom-com brain rot? Or am I ignoring a giant neon sign that says they're endgame and you're a plot device? Too long did not read. My BF's girl best friend is amazing, kind, and not inappropriate at all, but they have insane chemistry and history and I feel like I might be the side character in their love story. Help. Mark and Claire have had over 20 years to make something happen. Clearly no one would stand in their way if they wanted to. They don't. Maybe it's worth having a conversation with Mark about doing more to shut down the comments about how good they look together. Isn't he sick of them, too? But don't let other people's impressions weigh more than Mark's own opinions or actions. People who were raised together tend to not date. If they spent a lot of time together at a young age, they likely don't see each other as anything other than a good friend. People have evolved to not have sex with their siblings. This ick goes for anyone who spent a lot of time with them as a young child. It is wired in. With all this external support and encouragement, don't you think something would have happened by now if they were interested in making it happen? Just because they are both hot doesn't mean they're a romantic match. Some people just do not see each other that way. I have a close male friend who is catnip for women. Like literally beautiful women just throw themselves at him everywhere we go. I have never had any physical or romantic interest in him whatsoever. I can recognize he's good looking and a great catch, but he is not for me. Pay attention to your boyfriend's actions, not people on social media. His actions say he's committed to you and that Claire is not a threat. Are you aware of the Westermarck effect? The Westermarck effect, also known as reverse sexual imprinting, is a psychological hypothesis that states that people tend not to be attracted to peers with whom they lived like siblings before the age of 6. It might be interesting for you to read about tungyangshi, a practice where families would raise their son and future daughter-in-law together, starting from when they were children. These marriages were rarely successful, and the Westermarck effect is cited as a potential reason why. Sounds like the only thing that's been bugging you are other people thinking they'd be a great couple. People will think what they want, it doesn't mean anything. A lot of people don't understand close male-female friendships and make assumptions based on their own belief that male-female friendship is a lead up to dating. My husband has a female best friend and we met around the same age as you guys and going strong 10+ years now. I figured when we met, they've been friends long enough that if they wanted to be dating they would be. They've been single at the same time, so nothing would have stopped them. If you aren't getting bad vibes from your boyfriend or his friend, don't let other people make you insecure. Looking good together does not equal chemistry. Being good looking doesn't automatically equal attraction. If they wanted to be together they would be. My 29 female boyfriend, 35 male, yelled at me for wearing pajamas. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 2 years, and in the beginning of our relationship he has gotten angry at me for wearing pajamas, loungewear around the house. He says it feels like I'm not putting in any effort for him, but I've told him I value comfort and practicality, and I also don't want to dirty my nicer clothes if I'm staying home all day. We still don't see eye to eye on this, but I've tried to compromise by wearing what makes me comfortable at home, and dressing sexier when we go out together, or when we're intimate. For the most part this has worked, but there was an issue several weeks ago where he came home while I was half asleep, saw that I was wearing a tank top that had a stain on it, and woke me up to yell at me about how disgusting and disrespectful this was. To clarify, this tank top was completely clean, it had been washed several times, but the stain just won't come out. I can't bring myself to throw out lightly stained or ripped clothes because it feels wasteful, and I try to repurpose them as pajamas. Today I came home a little after 9 p.m. I said hello to him, told him I'd join him in a second, and went to Chong into pajamas. He asked if I could stay wearing my regular clothes, and I told him I'd prefer not to, explaining that I was tired, uncomfortable, and in pain from period cramps, and continued changing. This angered him, and he said that it was disrespectful to wear my pajamas after he specifically asked me not to. He said that it was unfair that I wore cute clothes in front of everyone else all day, and to just wear grimy clothes in front of him, especially after he was kind enough to give me a ride to work, and pick up something from the store for me. He also argued that my outfit didn't look that uncomfortable. I tried to point out that the pajamas I changed into are clean, and it was hurtful to hear that he thinks I'm grimy and disgusting when I'm just wearing normal house clothes. I also tried to tell him that even if my clothes didn't look that uncomfortable, I was, and again I'm in pain from period cramps. I didn't even bother trying to explain that the only reason I was dressed semi-nicely is because he's yelled at me, and made me feel bad in the past for wearing comfortable clothing like leggings and hoodies. He just continued yelling, so I shut him down and went to bed. I just don't like feeling like I owe someone something pretty to look at, and that me looking attractive to him is more important than my physical comfort. This has been a point of contention multiple times in our relationship, where he has pressured me to wear high heels, or revealing clothing that I'm not comfortable with because it's what he likes. I also feel like he might be punishing me because I went out for dinner with a friend, another woman. And while out, a man approached us and tried to hit on both of us. I have comprised a lot on this issue, but how can I tell him my comfort in my own home is not something I'm willing to compromise? Hey, so this is abusive behavior that he has no intention of changing and I'm concerned will actually be escalate. I didn't read all of it, but your boyfriend is a fucking asshole. Why would you want to date a fucking asshole? He thinks he can control you, and he feels disrespected that you're trying to stand up for yourself. And he gets angry when he feels disrespected and yells at you. This is not a healthy relationship. This is abusive and controlling. Waking you up to yell at you is pretty extra. I have comprised a lot on this issue, but how can I tell him my comfort in my own home is not something I'm willing to compromise? You've told him. He doesn't care. How about looking for a partner who likes you and wants you to be comfortable? Please break up with him before it gets any worse. Why are you with someone who yells at you and punishes you for someone else's actions which are outside of your control? Why isn't your post about how angry you are and maybe logistics around leaving? Clothes aren't the problem, but I am curious where he got this idea about dressing up at home. What does he wear at home, including after 9 p.m. and when he doesn't feel well?